Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT.
I don't care. It's close enough. I'm not here to be accurate, god damn it. I'm here to just say it.
AJ.
They literally sneak out by hiding a girl under a giant trench coat like a Three Stooges gag. What the f***, Disney Plus? Come on now.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we give our review of the recent adaptation of Stephen King's Bachman book, The Long Walk, and our thoughts on the recently released trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu. This is the Nerf Herder Council. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and the Facebook and YouTube pages, channels, whatever you want to call them, of the Virtual Cantina Network. We are at those locations every other Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. If you have not already done so and you are watching on either our YouTube channel or that of the Virtual Cantina Network, please don't forget to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and smash that notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. If you would like to get some awesome Virtual Cantina Network swag, just go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. And if you would like to get some awesome customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So AJ is running a little bit late tonight, so he'll be jumping on any second now. Hopefully. He's not the most punctual, and he told me he was going to be late, so this could be dangerous. But in any case, he's jumping on here in a few minutes. So tonight we will be talking some Stephen King. As the show description kind of said, we've been doing the show as of December. It'll be 10 years for us. And we have never done a Stephen King episode, which is kind of interesting because I am a huge Stephen King guy. So this will be a first for me. I'm very excited to talk about it. We are also going to be digging into the Star Wars news of the week, which is, of course, the new trailer for Mandu and Grogu. As we like to call it on the show. Seriously, The Mandalorian and Grogu. The trailer dropped this week. AJ and I now consider ourselves influencers because we talked just a couple weeks ago about how we haven't seen anything about the movie and are we getting nervous or not? And sure enough, 2 weeks later, here comes the trailer. So Disney is clearly listening to us. Go Nerf Herder Council. Before we get down to it, we have to send an enormous congratulations out to all of our friends at the Virtual Cantina Network. We have recently hit 100,000 subscribers at the VCN, and that is just awesome. I personally never knew how big this thing was getting. You know, I met Spencer and John Chiato. They've founded the Virtual Cantina Network. I met them at Star Wars Celebration 2019, and we've told that story on the air, all the craziness that went on. But, we kept in touch with them over the years, and then, they started, the Facebook page. It might have been around at that time. I don't remember exactly when it started, but so they started this page, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And, the Boon to Eve events at the celebrations just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the point now that they're ticketed events and they sell out every time. The guests that they're getting at their events are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Yeah, they hit 100,000 subscribers, and I know that for AJ and I, it's an honor to be a part of. It really is, because it is the largest Star Wars Celebration fan club page, however you want to phrase it, in existence. So it's pretty awesome that we get to broadcast to that type of an audience, every other Wednesday, just because we met Spencer and all of those guys at Celebration at their second ever Boonta. So many congratulations to them. It is an awesome page. There's absolutely nothing but positivity and great information there. Super fun page. If you guys have not subscribed to that, just look up Star Wars Celebration. I believe they changed it to Star Wars Celebration Los Angeles, because they change it every time there's a new celebration going on. But yeah, so just look it up on Facebook and become our latest subscriber and add to that 100,000 strong. So once again, to Spencer and John Chiato and all those guys, man, huge congratulations. That is an incredible feat. And as we always say, thank you for allowing us to be a part of it. That's just awesome. So AJ is in the green room. Let's see if he's ready to go here. Can you give me a thumbs up if you are? Baxter, is that you? Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee. All righty, let's see if he's ready to roll here. He had to run in late here. So, all right, do we have you?
Hi.
There we
go. Yes, I am here.
I see by your hand motion, I believe you're creating a beverage.
I am.
There you go. What is tonight's?
Never podcast sober. Come on now.
Is it okay? Oh, okay. Crown blackberry and what?
I'm a little bit of a scientist, so I went with zero sugar. Hold on a second.
Okay. There we go.
There we go. A little bit full. Zero sugar, Pepsi, cherry
and blackberry.
Yeah, why not?
So you're doing wild berry, alcoholic cherry Pepsi, wild berry zero Pepsi alcoholic or something.
Yes,
okay.
Lots of words. Lots of words.
Okay. Well, how is it so far?
All
right, he's taking a big chug. This is great for our audio viewers.
Yes, it's good. There we
go. Rock and roll. I have two of those those cherry Pepsi Zeros in the fridge for work tomorrow. I love that stuff. It's my pop of choice. Not with blackberry crown in it, but So Kale's checking in. Good to see you as always, man. He says, now that you're both here, good morning, Drakes. How goes it? It goes very well, Kale. I had an hour-long text conversation with Wayne Joyner last night that was pretty absolutely incredible. So life is good. Life is good. So our Guardians are playing. That's why I'm wearing all my baseball stuff. This is exactly what I wore last night when we won. So I'm wearing it again. And if we win tonight, I'm wearing my jersey tomorrow as well. So I'm going to ride.
Good mojo going, man.
Exactly. Ride the wave. So. All right. So let's get into tonight's topic here. The first of two anyway. We are talking about the Stephen King adaptation, The Long Walk. You are very dark, by the way. I think your lights are messed up. So, yeah. So first and foremost, we'll go over the concept real quick, but basically it's 50 kids, ages 18 or younger, and they enter a thing called The Long Walk, and they have to maintain a speed of 3 miles per hour. And if they fall beneath that 4 times, on the 4th time, they get their heads blown off. So it's kind of like a dystopian future type thing.
3.
Because
warning,
they
second warning, blam.
Third warning, and then blam. Believe me, I know this. So, it's that concept already differs from the book, because the book is 100 kids and it's 4 miles an hour. So they did make that change. It's there are some differences between the book and the movie, but in terms of a concept, it's really, really cool. I mean, it seems kind of silly, and we'll get into this, AJ, probably right off the rip, but it seems kind of silly when you're like, oh, it's just people walking. You're like, well, how is that interesting? But in the novel, it works great. And it's extremely character driven. So, that obviously there's not a lot of action outside of the deaths, of which there are many. So it does get pretty dark, which, I'm a huge fan of. But yeah, I mean, let's just, start right here.
Mhm.
You hated it.
Yeah. So JT just synopsized the movie, and the thing that I don't like about it is that he just spoiled the whole movie. If you're expecting more than that to happen, you're going to be disappointed. It is literally exactly that. It is 50 kids start walking, and then one of them wins it, and that's it. There is nothing more to it, and that was the hardest thing. Was when you first explained the concept to me, I thought, okay, that doesn't sound very interesting, but I'm sure that there's, storytelling devices they can use to tell it in an interesting way, like use flashbacks or cutaways of some type. Maybe there's a B plot of, spectators or something. No, it's really just focused on the kids walking and the conversations they have. That's it. And that was my biggest problem. I was like, wow, there's really nothing more to this.
Well, and what's interesting is all that stuff you just said. You're right. Those things are in it. All of everything that you just said is in it. If you're talking about the book. So I will give my general review. I was disappointed and I did not care for it. I'm going to watch it again because it's a Stephen King adaptation. Full disclosure, I am a huge fan of the book. The interesting thing about this book is it wasn't the first book that Stephen King published, but it was the first novel he ever finished when he began writing. So he released it under a pen name, Richard Bachman. He had released like 4 or 5 books under that pen name, and then he got outed by some crazy, super overzealous fan as, "Oh, Richard Bachman, that's a pen name. It's actually Stephen King." So he had to come up and be like, yeah, I'm Richard Bachman. And the reason he put those books out under that name was because he thought they were too dark to put out under his own name, which is pretty crazy when you think about some of the dark shit that Stephen King's put out. But so that's why if you look it up, the early versions of the book you'll find under the name Richard Bachman or in a collection of things called the Bachman books, and it's they are pretty damn dark. There's another adaptation coming out later this year that I'm now nervous for because of the long run, but it's called The Running Man. They did like a 1980s, I believe it was 1986 movie about an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and I love the movie, but it's very different from the book. So it looks like from all the trailers, The Running Man that's coming out this year is much more true to the original story. But in any case, Kale's got a question real quick. He says, is there like a revolution of how they stop other kids next year? Or is that literally it? Yeah, Kale, that's literally it. So what happens is the kids enter the long walk and only one lives and you get anything you want. So if you get done, you're like, I want $1 billion. Well, you get $1 billion. If you're like, I want, all you can eat crab legs every day for the rest of my life, you get all you can eat crab legs every day for the rest of your life, stuff like that. So, it's basically framed as, it's such a, it's like a, it's patriotic to sign up. It's doing your duty. It's almost like military-esque. And the main quote unquote bad guy is character called the Major. He's played by Mark Hamill. Almost said Luke Skywalker, but so yeah, it's again, I don't know. Like, all right, Liberty Timmons checking in. Great to see you. Says, really, I thought it held up well as far as adaptations go. Screw Under the Dome. Oh yeah, I agree with you there. Trying to get through that now. It sucks. I like the movie adaptation for The Long Walk. Yeah, Under the Dome, the series is not. If you're going to do a series, why have to make all those changes? I don't get it. But in any case, Nick Hall, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, AJ, all the stuff that you mentioned, it's in the book. I think that the biggest problem that I had, and our older brother DA and we talked about this on the way out, it's so rushed. It's interesting to me because
rushed how? Because it's a standard length film, and like I said, the plot itself is very simple. So, what did they rush?
There's like, I'm very surprised because the majority of reviews for this are really good. and they say, oh, you get behind the characters and you get into their friendships and you feel for these people when I'm like, no, you don't.
That was my problem. Yeah.
I didn't care. I didn't care. And in the book, you really care because like there's a big, the relationship between the two main characters, McVrees and Garrity. Like that's a major, major, major thing. By the way, guys, forgot again. The views of the Nerf Herder Council don't necessarily reflect those of the Virtual Cantina Network, and there might be swearing on our show. And for tonight, there definitely will be spoilers. So if you're looking to not get spoiled, then this is not the show for you. Yeah, I'm sorry. What was your question? I realized I missed the bumper. So,
well, you said like what was rushed?
Okay. There's no character development. There's no like Barkovich in the novel is a big deal. And granted they show the part where he basically is inciting another kid to attack him, which is against the rules of the long walk, but then also it gets the kid all of his warnings and the kid gets clipped. But in the book, like they just completely gang up on Barkovich. Like every time he opens his mouth, McVrees just goes, "Shut up, killer." And it becomes a big deal. Like he's like the one that everyone's trying to beat. Everyone's he's kind of like the mechanical rabbit, as it were, because everyone's like, well, fuck this guy. Like I can't lose to him. And he had a couple of those moments, but it wasn't nearly like it was in the book. And again, the other interesting thing about this, AJ, is that my stepson Dominic, and we went with him too, he said he loved it, and he hasn't read the book. So I really, really wonder how many of these people that are giving this awesome reviews have actually read the book as well.
Well, that's what I think is interesting, because I haven't read the book, and I did not like the movie. Usually when a book is adapted into a movie and then there's a contingent of the audience that says, I don't like that movie, it's usually the people that have read the book and said that didn't do the book justice.
Yeah.
But this is being very well received by a lot of people who haven't read the book, and it's also being trashed, like in your case, by people who have read the book. So it seems to be completely independent of whether you've read the book or not, what your opinion of this movie is.
Yeah, it's just, man, oh man. Liberty Timmons says, I can get behind that. I had more connection to the characters in the book. The Dark Tower is my favorite in King's work, hoping against hope that the new Dark Tower series is good. I have no hope for that. I just don't think they're going to get it right. I don't know why they can't get the Dark Tower right, but I think it's because people keep messing with it too much. Don't even get me started on that movie with Idris Elba in it. Also, Liberty says, my mom hasn't read the book and had tears in her eyes by the end. She loved the movie. Yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend the book, even to you, AJ, which I'm sure you probably won't because you've got a predisposed notion to it now, which I completely understand.
I'm also illiterate.
Nice.
That's why we pimp Audible. It's the only way I can get books in. I don't know what the titles are until it starts playing, of course. I don't know how to choose
AJ no read. No, it's, I mean, dude, there's no time
on my phone. That's it.
Yeah, there's no time to get into the interworkings of the characters, and that is really what this is about. It's, I mean, I know, Kale, you said you're bored with this concept, but the concept actually is awesome because this is all about character. And it's all about interpersonal relationships. And I think this is one of my favorite Stephen King novels because his best stuff to me is when the characters are really interwoven very well. And there's a very strong emotional connection and things, to build off of. And this one does it incredibly well in the book. There's, Baker is a big part of it. He's one of the four musketeers, obviously, in the movie. There was another character that they actually combined a couple characters into one, like in the movie Stebbins gets sick or whatever, but that was actually a character in the book named Scram who was favored to win. And the guy was basically built like an ox and he wasn't very bright, but he was just a really kind of like a cornpone country guy with an iron constitution, and he ends up basically getting pneumonia, and that's what takes him out. You know, he was just like absolutely destroying everybody, and then he gets pneumonia. And okay, so, but yeah, you don't have any of that in the movie. It just felt like they were like boom, 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 knocking from point to point to point, and it just didn't work for me. And I felt bad because we were like half an hour into this movie, and I was sitting there thinking, everybody in my row that I brought with me this movie is hating this. Like, I felt guilty. So
I will admit, yes, that it was not my favorite. That's for sure. So explain the book to me a little bit, because it seems like the movie really hinged. It absolutely banked on the relationship between, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the character names, the two main characters here that are in the wallpaper in the background.
McVrees and Garrity. Garrity is 47.
Garrity.
Yeah.
So we had the Four Musketeers, which is funny because there's three, but so the four Musketeers, but really it was about these two primarily. Now, did the book center on them so much as well, or did it kind of expand the cast and flesh out all the other walkers as well?
It focused on them a lot, but you did get more of the other characters. Like I say, like, you know, Barkovich, obviously he was like the hated guy, but then he has like a heart to heart with Garrity at one point. The kind of, you know, humanizes him, and you kind of understand where it's, you know what I mean? Like, they could actually have these different characters, but then they had moments between them that kind of fleshed them out and everything. And so, you know, you were really kind of bought into this thing, and it was really, really interesting. Like I say, Baker was a big deal in the book. Stebbins was a really big deal in the book. You know, it was just, you know, oh God, I'm drawing a blank of the Collie Parker. Collie Parker was a big deal in the book. So you just got a lot more about these people. And I think in the movie, they kind of just glossed over, you know, like Collie Parker, he was, you know, the Native American guy in this movie. Well, in the book, there are a pair of Native American brothers that they don't really talk much about, and one of them lives, one of them goes a little further, whatever. So they kind of combined them with Collie Parker, because Collie Parker's kind of like the blunt dick jock guy in a way. But yeah, I mean, it just works so much better. And that's why I was so excited for this, because I love the novel, and all the pre-reviews I was seeing said, oh, this is really great. You know, the interaction between the characters is amazing, like the friendships that they build and this, that, and the other. And I came out of it going, what the hell are you watching?
And I think they were going for like a Stand By Me kind of vibe, especially with the whole like Four Musketeers thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's four kids, in this case, young men, but I think that's what they were going for. You know the stories better than I do, but that seems to be Stephen King's thing. Is it's a, you know, small group of people, and it's all the relationships that they forge on a shared experience along the way. Like,
yeah,
but yeah, I don't think it was nearly, well, obviously I don't think it was nearly as successful as Stand By Me, but I mean, that's just a seminal movie, period. And the book too. So
yeah,
but that seems to be Stephen King's style. And I think that he tried the same trick twice, and one worked better than the other. Well,
no, honestly, both books work incredibly well, because, you know, Stand By Me, for anybody who doesn't know, is also a Stephen King adaptation. It's a novella called The Body. And here's a super fun fact. The Shawshank Redemption, for those who don't know, is also a Stephen King adaptation. And that one is of a novella called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. And it is in a book of 4 novellas that also contains one called Apt Pupil, which is kind of like an underground fan favorite Stephen King story / movie. But yeah, that one, it's called Different Seasons, and that one collection of 4 novellas has Shawshank Redemption, Apt Pupil, and Stand By Me. So if you're looking for a Stephen King, you can just skip the last one, because it is one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever read. It's called The Breathing Method. I'm like, what is this? But anyway, the other
when
three
you read as much as he does, they can't all be winners, can they?
Yeah, exactly. Bad Santa. Well, now they can't all be winners, now can they?
Right.
No, honestly, dude, like, he really nailed it. I think the difference is that Stand By Me, the movie, really nailed the book, whereas The Long Walk did not. But I think there were more action pieces available with Stand By Me than there are with The Long Walk, because The Long Walk is strictly pretty much the interplay between the characters. And, you know, as they're going, like you can feel them wearing down. And you kind of, because they're like, oh, you know, we've been walking for 100 miles and we've been walking for 4 days. And you really kind of, as you're going through the book of The Long Walk, you feel like you kind of are, you know, subliminally, psychologically, however you want to look at it, it does kind of wear you down a little bit, but not in a bad way. You're like, I'm putting this book down, but it's like he does a really good job of making you feel like they are wearing down. Like this is not going well. Like they just thought they're going to walk and it's not a big deal, but oh yeah, it's a really big deal. And then people start dying and, you know, like dude gets a cramp and he can't fucking get it unhitched. And so he gets blown away all because he had a cramp, you know, stuff like that. Like, so the novel really does work.
Yeah. I think that is one of the things that surprised me with the movie and the positive reviews. I've never done anything like this, obviously, but I have run a couple of marathons. I've been on obstacle course races that were way the hell longer than I ever wanted them to be. You know, I've done distance based things where like at some point, like every step is pain. And there's just, you're like, I don't want to, I would welcome that bullet. I would be like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And you feel it like as you're going, you're like, oh my God, okay, well, this isn't going to feel right until this thing ends. And now I got 2 things that won't feel right until this thing ends. And possible TMI, but yeah, sometimes you get stuck out there and nature calls, you know?
Yeah.
And they show that in the movie. Like they're not allowed to stop for potty breaks or anything. And it's not like running an organized 5K or 10K where there's water stations along the way. And here's your energy gels after 2 miles. Good job. Like, no, you eat what you bring and they'll swap out a canteen for you. But eventually you got to do what human bodies got to do with waste. And well, I hope you can do it at 3 miles an hour.
Yeah. So, well, and even
didn't
that
really convey that appropriately. Like you said, it didn't seem like they really wore down because they would like do a scene, have a conversation, and then it would cut to day whatever, mile whatever. And yeah, they're kind of trudging along, but like they didn't focus on that minutia of anyone who's done distance anything. They know that feeling of like, my God, like I can walk down the street no problem if it's the first thing I've done. But if I've just walked down 200 streets, the 201st is impossible.
Yeah.
And you didn't get that feeling from this.
No, I completely agree with that. I mean, even like, you know, I mean, it's very visceral. Like the first death, I mean, it's pretty much a close up of a dude getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
I mean, the deaths are very, very realistic. They don't pull punches. You know, I mean, let's just phrase it for what it is. I mean, a guy has to stop and shit in the street because, as AJ said, they can't stop to you know, use the restroom. So, I mean, in the book, they basically turn around, just walk backwards. So that's no big deal. But, you know, there is a scene in the book that's a big deal when McVrees he's really got to take a dump, but he's in front of a giant crowd. Like that's one thing that they completely blew, is they only had the huge crowd in the movie, like at the end. But in the book, you get small crowds here and there at the start, and then it grows and grows. So when they get to like you know, second day, third day, like it's a huge deal. It's all over, you know, the television and stuff. And he's in front of like this big ass crowd, and he's like, oh God, I got to take a dump. And so even that, you're kind of like, it sounds like it's gross, but it's like you're so invested in the story by the time this all goes down that you're like, you feel the embarrassment. Like it actually means something. It's not just, he's got to take a crap in the street. Like, you know, it's like, it's just one more thing to pile on to what they're going through.
That would be a great layer. They missed that in the movie entirely, like you said.
Yeah. See, and that's exactly what I mean about it being rushed. You know, so they put a lot of stuff in the movie that was in the books. Like they kind of almost had a greatest hits of the cool things that happen, but none of it really meant anything.
It was more like a documentary, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Like it was very factual. Like they got all the parts in there, and this is my problem with a lot of movies turned from books, is that a lot of times I get the feeling like, and honestly, I have this problem with the Harry Potter films too, where a lot of times they you could tell that the people making it are so familiar with the source material that they forget to imbue the film with the feeling.
Yes.
They're feeling it because they're so familiar with the source material that they just assume that everyone watching the scene is going to get it too.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that
completely agree.
background, then it's just lost. Like Hunger Games movies, I think, have the same problem where they're very good at, okay, remember this scene from the book? Remember this scene from the book? Remember this scene from the book? Yeah, they're all there, but they're not written from the standpoint of, if this was an original script and not something that people had already read, how do we get them to feel what they're supposed to from this?
Yeah. And that's why I say that it feels rushed to me, because it does hit the story beats, but there's no weight behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I described it to our brother as, it feels like the Cliff Notes version of the book, And so I was like, okay, like, I can understand why my stepson really liked it. But, for someone like me,
because he has bad taste.
Well, no, he used the explanation that I've used so many times with Star Wars. Like, he said, I go to the movies to be entertained. I suspend disbelief. So I just came in here wanting to see a movie, and I thought the movie was cool. I saw dudes getting blown away.
Did see a movie, yes.
Nice.
That is
Liberty,
the baseline.
Liberty Timid says it really was a mental wearing down as well as a physical wearing down. I agree that was not well done in the movie. Yeah, it's so difficult for me, Liberty, because like I really love the book, and I don't think the movie is bad. It's just kind of there. And I don't understand all the great reviews it's getting, because I didn't get that, connection between the characters, and I don't know.
Yeah, I was waiting for moments of people just like the walkers just getting sick of it.
Yeah.
Like turning it to the soldiers, being like, what more do you want? We've done everything you've asked. And, like there was none of that. There was no rebellion against the thing when people just mentally broke.
You mean like in the book?
Yeah, they did. Instead, in the movie, they just, the best we got was people that would just like resign themselves to their fate and just stop walking and be like, yeah, give me the bullet.
Yeah. And again, it's, I love that you're mentioning all these things, because seriously, every single thing you have mentioned happens in the novel.
It's because I'm always right.
Well, you did studying, you cheap bastard. But yeah, and that's the thing, is that it's like all the things that you want in there aren't. So that's what I'm saying. Like, anybody listening to this that hasn't read the book, if it's sounding like, oh, it's just people walking, I'm not reading this, screw this. Like, and to you, AJ, I would say, honestly, I would give it a chance, because the way that the interaction goes between the characters, and again, you can feel them wear down as the book goes on. It's written brilliantly from that perspective. So, and it's, and the thing that really doesn't get across at all to me is just how, as it's going on, these they're kids, let's be honest, they're all under 18, they're like 18 or younger or whatever. They really realize what they've gotten themselves into. And it's like, okay, well, it was a concept of, I'm going to win, I'm just going to walk and I'm going to win, whatever I want. But then all of a sudden, as they're getting into it, they start realizing, no, every single one of us but one is going to die. And it's the mental breakdown, it's the physical breakdown, it's the growing up way, way, way before you have to, and realizing it doesn't matter because you're going to be dead in an hour anyway. All these things are going on, and it's just something you can't get across in the movie. I think
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
That was something that I thought was weird, was maybe I'm just an asshole like this, but yeah, there were a couple of characters who got into it, and they're basically like, yeah, I don't want to know you. You're going to be a corpse.
Yeah.
Very short amount of time. And that is like that killer instinct, for lack of a better term, that I would expect more people to have. Like, they're going into this contest, and you'd think more of that would have been communicated. This idea of like, well, we're all in this together, guys. Let's be friends. Like, why? You're just going to feel shittier when you watch them die, or don't watch them die because you don't want to see it. So you just keep walking while you hear the gunshot.
Well, and you have that again, like, it's, man, see, this is my main complaint. Like, it's all in the book, man, and it's not in the movie. It just isn't. And I love that you brought up Stand By Me, because granted, there's, Stand By Me is shorter in terms of the book. And again, there are certain action pieces they can throw in there to kind of, break up, the character driven parts. But to me, the movie nailed the feel and the vibe of the book. And you brought up Harry Potter. I think the Harry Potter movies nail the vibe and feel of the books, personally, for me. But this one just didn't. And there's speaking of things I'm glad people brought up, Liberty Timmons mentioned Under the Dome, which is one of Stephen King's longest books. And I mean, it's huge, but Under the Dome, I consider basically like a combination of The Mist and a season of The Walking Dead, the later seasons where there's no walkers. It's just them, the different factions of humans pissing on each other.
When they completely just lost the plot. Yeah.
And so it's like different factions fighting. This whole town gets put under a dome. An invisible.
I just can't help but think of the Simpsons movie with that.
That's what it is, really. That's honestly the idea. But obviously in the Stephen King book, then you have different factions. Like, I'm siding with this guy, but then this guy's siding with that guy. And I mean, the ending is unfortunately a typical shit Stephen King ending, but the book is totally worth it. And they made a long form series out of it, and they made all these plot changes. I'm like, why are you doing that? And that's another thing we'll get into in a minute. But I bring this up to say, if they were going to make a series out of a Stephen King book, The Long Walk would be a perfect choice, because you could put all that character stuff in there. It would give you the time to actually put all the things that make the book unique and special and interesting and things that keep your attention. You could actually do them. And I see the look on your face. You're like, I would have to sit through that for 10 hours, but it's better
I would
that
be
way.
prepared for that, though. If it's a series, look, Game of Thrones makes a shit movie. You know why? Because it's written to play out across 10 plus hours per season times 7. So any one episode makes a crap movie. But
yeah,
that's what you're talking about here.
I mean, think about it. If let's say you have a 10 episode series.
Stephen King stuff. Isn't Westworld also a Stephen King thing?
I don't think so.
Okay,
that's one of the. I know that. It's not a Stephen King book that I'm aware of.
Well, anyway, it's definitely a book, and it was hailed as a triumph because it was made as a series, and you tell a story differently in a series. And I feel like a lot of Stephen King stuff ends up being that way, where you're like, you know what, you just can't do it in a movie. You can't do it in 2 hours, 25 minutes.
Well, that's why they took 11/22/63 and they made that into a series, and it was pretty good. I mean, they made some stupid changes I didn't like, but you can't tell that story in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, having it take place on November 23rd was really dumb.
Oh my God! See, that's another one I would recommend to you, but it's quite lengthy. But yeah, I mean, with The Long Walk, I mean, think about it. Like, part of the things, like I'm saying, that is not getting across is the relationship between these characters. Well, imagine if instead of 2 hours with Garrity and McVrees, imagine if you have 10 hours to where they're having personal conversations. They're each saving each other from death like 3 times. After the second time, it's like, don't do that again. Don't do that again. But they're so broken by the time the last one comes that they're like, I can't stand losing this person. Like, I can't handle hearing the guns again. So they do it out of not only saving a friend, but also self-preservation of their own mind. You could show those sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a similar opinion on this, where we walked out of the movie and upon reflection, we're like, boy, there's so many ways that they could have done that better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the praise for this movie, to your point, like, I don't understand it, because it doesn't seem like it's that hard to make a better film than the one we got.
Yeah. Real quick, I wanted to address this Kale's comment. He says, yeah, this really doesn't sound like Stephen, quote unquote, scary stuff, ding, King. No, this is one of his like cerebral things, Kale. I mean, it's got a little bit of the horror aspect, because it's, 100 kids get in this thing and 99 of them are going to die. So you're like, well, that's pretty damn dark. But it's very character driven, and it's very much about the interplay between people from different backgrounds and socioeconomical situations and things like that. So yeah, it's very different, but yeah, I mean, and getting into like the changes, because that's where I was kind of going with this.
Mhm.
I don't understand why these fucking movie directors have to make these damn changes. I am sick of them changing books. Make the book, you asshole. I'm so tired of it. I've said it before. If I'm going to a Van Halen tribute band concert, I don't want the band's goddamn interpretation of Panama. I want Panama. And if I'm going to see a filmmaker be like, oh, there's this classic book, I'm going to turn it into a movie. Then make the goddamn movie. I don't want your interpretation of it, okay? Because yours isn't as good. Stop it. So certain things, this one didn't have a ton, but the ones that they had in there annoyed me. And, specifically the ending. They fucked the ending. And I'm like, why would you do that? And I understand they needed a better, quote unquote, movie-ish ending because the book doesn't have that. But they fucked it up. I mean, look, man. I mean,
you fucked it up, Walter. You fucked it up.
That was my first comment. I was like, man. I mean, you probably heard me sitting next to me when right about 20 minutes before the end. I went, God damn it. I mean, you probably heard me
knew what was coming. Yeah, you totally called it.
I was so pissed. I was like, that's not what happens. Because in the book, there's like a left turn type of ending. It doesn't go how you would think. And so it's like, well, what the fuck, man? Like, and then, because of that, then they changed the actual ending. So it's like, you got to be shitting me. So,
all right, I have one serious question and then one very Nerf Herder Council question for you. I want to start with the serious question because this is a Star Wars podcast after all, and Mark Hamill plays the Major.
Yes.
What is your review of him as that character?
I didn't like it. I thought it was too campy for the situation. But I don't think that's his fault. They made him ham it up, and also they put him in the movie way more than he's in the book. He was much more mysterious in the book because he didn't show up nearly as many times. And so it was kind of, he didn't talk almost at all. And he was kind of like this godlike figure to everybody. And but in the movie, he's doing all this stupid, keep walking 1 foot in front of the other. And it was just like kind of.
Yeah, the cheerleading seemed weird to me too.
Yeah. It was, some of the lines that he was saying were things that in the book the kids were saying to each other, like, how are you getting through this? I'm just picking them up and putting them down. So they kind of, infused those sorts of lines into his character. But it was just, the one thing I will say the movie did really well was it was gritty and it was realistic. So that part was cool. And I just think the campiness of the Major took away from it a little bit. What did you think?
I thought the same thing. Like I said, campy performance, and having not read the book, I didn't know how true to the book character he stayed. But Mark Hamill's a great voice actor, and he could be a great on-camera actor, but I don't believe him as being a major in the Army. And that voice that he put on it would have worked for a cartoon. That's why I say he's a great voice actor. Like that, you don't picture that voice coming out of a live action human. But if this was an animated or CG something, I'd be like, yes, cool. That's a great voice for an Army sergeant or major or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had the same problem. It was so distracting. I'm like, I don't buy you in this role for a second.
Yeah.
Well, I got the gravel in my voice and I'm just saying the things like, no.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it was, yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll get to, Mando or Mandu and Grogu here in a minute, but, yeah, I was, unfortunately, I have to say I was disappointed. But I will also say that, again, the book is awesome. I love the book. but I just think there are much better Stephen King adaptations out there, which we'll get into on an episode later this year. But it's interesting because he's done novels kind of like this, and the movie, and they've turned into movies, and in several cases the movies are actually pretty damn good. They get the point across, like you get the feel of it. It's I think the best one I can think of, or at least kind of like a similar one right off the top of my head, would be The Mist. The book and the movie of The Mist, there's like one kind of, it's not really a major plot point, but there's a plot point in the book that they don't put in the movie. So there's one difference, and then the ending is different in the movie, and the movie ending is one of those rare times they changed it, and it was fucking great. So like, I think I could give this away. It's been out long enough, but in the book, they escape the grocery store and they just drive, and it basically ends with the main character and his son and the Howard Johnson, and they get a faint radio signal like there's hope, there's other people still alive. But in the movie, it's got that ungodly dark, and which I'm a huge fan of. This just dreary,
yeah.
Oh God, and that's the one I always think of first. Like, that is the darkest ending I can possibly think of. And when I saw it in the movie theater, I was like, oh yes, like that is amazing. So that's one of those.
I should have known you'd be a fan of that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's like, well, if you're watching a horror movie, like, sometimes it's okay to just have the shittiest ending possible. Like, we just basically had you watch people get chewed up and spit out for 2 hours. Well, guess what? Fuck you. We're going to do it one last time. We're going to make you leave going, I need a shower. Ugh. Like, that's cool. That's a horror movie. So,
Yeah, I always thought like a fun listicle would be like 10 horror movie winners who really lost. And it would be stuff like that where like they weren't killed in the movie, but what they witnessed was so horrific that their lives are crap forevermore, and they might as well have died. And I feel like, that Stephen King does a lot of that where his characters end up so scarred from the experience that like living through it is probably the worst ending.
Yeah. Well, I will say that if, The Running Man, that's coming out in November. If it stays true to the book, that is a very dark ending. It's I would describe it as a very satisfying but very dark ending. So that one I'm going to be furious with if they do not end the movie the way they end the book. That's one I think that I would be like the most pissed at, because all the other ones, it's like, okay, well, like the ending of this one is different, and that's shit, but it's not. I mean, I can kind of understand why they did it. A lot of his other movie adaptations, like they do end the way the novel ends, which is good, but then again, some of them just have these changes that are just fucking terrible. I mean, that I've mentioned it before, that remake of Pet Sematary that came out a few years ago. I mean, that was, the whole horror. I mean, Stephen King called Pet Sematary the scariest book he's ever written, because it was a real concept to him. Because he's like, as a father, as a parent, your worst fucking nightmare is the death of your child. And in Pet Sematary, it's a toddler who gets hit by a gas truck. So what do they do in the remake? They have like the daughter who's like 10 years old. She gets it. And the toddler survives. Like, what are you doing? What is the point of that change? No one's going to like that.
I can tell you that probably the point of that change was that they looked at the original storyline and they were like, that is too dark.
Well, then don't make the fucking movie.
Exactly.
Am I wrong?
That was my next point. That was going to be my next point, actually, was if you're trying to adapt a story and the first thing you have to do is fundamentally change the story because, audiences or standards, whatever, don't do it. Just don't do the story then.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And, I think with this one, we'll we'll get to Star Wars here in a minute after this, but I think that's kind of the point with the long walk. I think for me, if they were going to do it as a series, I think it would have been awesome, because you could actually, like I said, man, sorry to repeat myself, you could actually put in all the cool stuff that's in the novel that make it worth reading and going on this journey where it's just walking. Because it does sound like exhausting. Like, why am I going to? Why am I going to read this? It's dudes walking. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. If you're just in it for the facts of the story, it's not an interesting story.
Yeah. Even with the fact that, but everybody dies but one. You're like, okay, but how do they get there? They just walk. They don't stop walking. It's like, so.
Well, and even that, like, if you know right off the bat, everybody dies but one, you got to give me something interesting along the way, because you already know the body count.
Yeah.
So you're just waiting to see who's the last one. It's not like, you know what they should have done? And then we'll get onto my very Nerf Herder Council question, because this has been plaguing me for half the episode now. But you know what the filmmakers should have done? They should have watched more Royal Rumbles. Because you know what Royal Rumble is? It's 30 competitors enter, one survives.
Yeah.
So you're just waiting for the eliminations, which means either one, the elimination has to be entertaining, and the first one was graphic as hell, and I was like, oh yes, it's a Stephen King book. This is gory as hell. This is going to get gnarly, and it didn't. They showed it the one time, and then after that, it was just kind of perfunctory. Like, yeah, you already saw somebody get offed, so we're not going to do it a second time. So the eliminations weren't thrilling, and because of that, then you're just waiting to see who's the last person. You're not really giving a shit about any of the people along the way, because you're just like, I'm watching corpses before they exist, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like the premise alone says, don't get too invested in these characters. You're just going to say goodbye to them. And it can be done. We love Rogue One, and we knew that they were all going to die. We met 8 characters, and we lost 8 characters in that movie. And it works. You can do it right, and this movie just didn't. I don't know how else to say it, really.
Well, and like I say, like, I think this would have worked as a mini series, but I think there's too much there to cram into a 2-hour movie.
Like I said, I told you walking out the theater, I entertained myself towards the end, not by following the story, but by doing the math. When a new card would show up, be like day whatever, mile whatever, I started being like, all right, well, let's see, 3 miles an hour, 24 hours in a day, that's 72 miles minimum. They say they're on day whatever. Okay, that math's out. That's okay.
Honestly, the only other way they could have done it better is make the movie long. And I'm not being facetious. Like, make it like 3.
Joking. I felt like I was on the long walk.
Yeah, seriously. Like, if you make it like 3 hours and 15 minutes, for people like, oh my god. But you can fit more character stuff in there, and you're feeling the exhaustion along with them. So if you can flesh out the character relationships more and have more stuff from the book in there, or at least the feel of the book in there, I think that would work really good. What's the term? Meta? That would have been very meta. Do I have that right? Okay. Yeah. But yeah, fine. Oh, real quick. Kale has a question. I can't remember. Did Arnold's version of Running Man change the ending? Yes, it did. Very much so, because basically the most of the plot was different. Like both of them are game shows, Kale, but it's different. Basically, the Arnold is a game show. The Arnold version is a game show, and they've got like the stalkers, where it's like they're kind of like superheroes that are, they got this, the guy who's running is in the game grid, and these stalkers each have like a superpower or whatever, and they're trying to kill this guy, whatever. But the game show in the novel it's the same thing. You got a guy who's running, but it's in the real world, and they're called the Hunters, and it's these guys that are like world class at finding people, and they have to try and survive in the real world for 30 days. And they're on Freevee every day, so you have to submit 2 movie clips every day, so that and of course the Hunters can be like, okay, well, that background is in Boston, or this is in this place, and they can track postmarks and shit like that. So, and everybody on the street, like if they catch you, they get $1,000 if they like turn you in and you get killed. So it's like basically you against everybody. How are you going to survive 30 days? So it's a little different, and there's a little more. It's much more high stakes, and the ending is very definitely different. But, yeah, my final take on this, dude, is that I don't want to
with this yet. I still have a question for you, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to dissuade anybody from watching the movie, because you might like it. If you haven't read the book, you might like the movie. I mean, most people that all the reviews have been great, so I would say check it out. I'm probably biased because of my love for the novel, but my personal take is the novel's much better. I would highly recommend the novel if you enjoy reading. Not to plug it again, but you can get the audiobook for free by using our code. Just go to audibletrial.com/NHC, and it's a free 30-day trial, and you can download The Long Walk for free. So I would recommend that. But yeah, for me, I was disappointed. I'll watch it again because it's Stephen King, and maybe I'll get more out of it. Maybe I was just too amped up, and maybe I'll get more into it as I see it more and get more into the vibe and appreciate it more. So, all right. So you had a question.
Yeah, because my mind is sick, and I think our viewership is too. So,
okay.
We mentioned the fact that there are no potty breaks, right?
Yes.
So I want to pose a question to you.
Okay.
How would you do your business on the long walk? Because it literally did a couple people in where they just, well, I can't do 3 miles an hour, and so.
Well, there's a guy there's a dude in the book that gets diarrhea, and he basically has to walk like absolutely like shitting himself for like miles. So
how would you do it? You were talking like people walk backwards in the book. Would you try to like duck walk? Would you just like hunch over and just kind of like let stuff fall? Would you shuffle backwards? I mean,
I cannot believe that we're having this conversation. The views of the Nerd Herder
honestly was one of the most interesting things in the movie to me was, oh my God, yeah, what would I do if I had to shit while walking?
What was the George Carlin? You never see a big giant Chinese guy with red hair taking a shit at full speed.
Because man, speaking of being out on the course and stuff, I've had some close calls where I'm like, and everybody knows that face that a baby makes when they you make it as a grown up too, especially if you got to hold it. And anyone who's done any running of any kind or any trail running, whatever, and you're just like caught out away from a bathroom, you're like, oh God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? In case of emergency, what do I do?
Yeah, like, and again, if this is gross, I'm sorry, guys, but it's a legitimate question strategically. I think it's. I would do the duck walk. The first time anyway. I would try and see. I would see if I could keep up the 4 miles per hour while crab walking.
That would be okay. So that's one change in the movie that I think was good, because 4 miles an hour is that's speed walking. That's like power walking. Yeah. It's not just let's take a stroll at a decent clip. So I actually buy the 3 miles an hour over the extended period of time that they were doing, more than the book apparently being 4 miles an hour.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would try and keep
while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I would Robert Tree light scale. Yeah, I mean, I would try and keep up speed the first time, and then if I realized that I couldn't, then the next time I would absolutely just, power push. I would stop, take my warnings, and just power push, man. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? That's really the only.
Sorry, audience. We're not a classy podcast.
No.
So if you're just tuning in, it's talking about how do you poop while walking?
Jesus. Go. Right then the live viewership jumped. They're talking about right. What? The virtual Cantina Network guys are like, we hit 100,000 subscribers for them to talk about this. Their first episode after 100,000, they're talking about taking a dump while walking. Like, well, seriously,
that does show something about the story in the movie, doesn't it? That the most fascinating thing in it was how do you poop while walking? Not, the whole intrigue of we got 50 young men, 49 of whom are going to die. And is it a powerful, story, metaphor, whatever? Have I learned something about the human condition? No, what I learned about the human condition is it's really hard to maintain a 3 mile per hour pace while you have to do your business.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Kale, don't worry. No one here but me, and I kind of knew what we were getting into. Right.
I should put that on a t-shirt.
There you go. Yeah. Nerf Herder Council, you know what you're getting into.
Well, we had 6, and now we're down to 2 all of a sudden. So yeah, I think we just lost a bunch of people.
It's all right. It's all right. All right. So do you want to get into some Mandu and Grogo?
Mandu and Grogo, absolutely. Yes. Because, we are a Star Wars podcast after all. So there was a teaser trailer dropped. As my Facebook profile said, I don't care about the timing or any other details about when this trailer dropped. We have a new Star Wars trailer, and that is what matters.
Well, let's talk about it. As I said at the intro to the show, you made the case that we are now influencers because 2 weeks ago we complained that there was no new content. We were nervous there was no trailer, and all of a sudden we got a trailer. So Disney's clearly listening to us. So hopefully we have a check in the mail coming. So
we scared them.
They're scared. All right. So
First off, anyone in the audience who is more knowledgeable than us, is this the same trailer that aired earlier this year at Celebration? Because I did not see any leaked footage of that trailer except for a couple of clips. I didn't see the whole thing in its entirety. So I would like to know, did we get the same trailer or is this a new trailer?
I thought it was a new one personally, but I don't know that for certain. So, Kale, I messaged John when I saw this and I accidentally called it Mandu and Grogo to my folks. See, it gets in your head. You kind of lose focus of it. Yeah. So what were your initial reactions to it?
I had a very John reaction to it.
Okay.
Because I saw a trailer for a Star Wars thing that I hadn't seen yet, and I just got excited and loved every frame of it.
Okay.
That's really it. Like, I forgot, dude. We have been doing this podcast for 10 years coming up, right? And that celebration, it will be epic.
Yep.
For 7 of them, we haven't had a new Star Wars to get excited about. Not a new Star Wars movie. By next year, it's going to be 7 years since Rise of Skywalker. So we've had...
Oh my God.
Basically 7 years since we've had new Star Wars movie to get excited about because, that's about when the Rise of Skywalker trailer hit, was about a year prior to its release.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
So yeah, it's been so long since we've had a movie to go like, oh my God, let's let our imaginations fly and see what we come up with. Like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Isn't it so much fun?
I love it. I mean, I even had our buddy Sherrick, who's been on the show a few times. He's like, man, isn't that awesome? They showed Zeb. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, you didn't see Zeb?
Well, Zeb Aurelios is the character from Rebels.
Yes. Well,
I'm understanding that you're underwhelmed.
Well, I actually having Zeb in live action will be cool. But I was like, what the hell is he talking about? So I watched.
He looks good in Mandalorian season 3.
Mandalorian. That's what I thought. But yeah, I had to Google it. I'm like, and the same picture came up, and it wasn't him in the trailer. Well, then when I read the results, it was like, oh yeah, he's in a hallway fighting stormtroopers. And so when I went back and watched the trailer again after that, I was like, I don't see Zeb. Is this asshole just freeze framing every goddamn frame? Like what is Sherrick? I love you, but good Lord, dude.
It's lengthy enough that you should have recognized that.
Did you see him?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I missing?
I mean, his weapon is kind of signature too. So as soon as you spotted like an electro staff with purple ends, much like the Magna Guards use, then that's pretty much all you need to know.
Oh, fuck it. He's in there. I don't care.
Wow, John doesn't like a Rebels appearance. What a surprise.
Yeah, I don't care. I missed it. I'll see him in the movie. I'm not going back and watching it again for that like second and a half like little blip of Zeb. You know, so look at this.
Some people were pissed because there's there's 2 lines of dialogue in the whole thing.
It's nice
So
shot.
There's nothing. Yeah, nice shot, baby. And
yeah, right.
and I think Mandalorian says like impressive or something like that.
Yeah, with the swole hut.
Yeah, they're like
Swolo the Hut.
Yeah, the criticisms are we don't know anything about the story. It's a teaser trailer. It's just supposed to be eye candy to get you excited, right?
Exactly. And I mean, I've seen that complaint too. We don't really know what the story is. Like, who cares? Is it really going to get you to not go if you find out from a 2-minute trailer that you don't like what you think the story is going to be? Well, no, I'm not going to go see it. Bullshit. You're going to go to the movie anyway. Who the hell cares?
I mean, if we're really going to get investigative about this, do you mind if I just dump us out of the frame for a second? Because the wallpaper behind us is official on StarWars.com for the movie.
Sure.
So we could see what imagery are they pimping in addition to the teaser trailer. So if we dump ourselves, by the way, I don't really know StreamYard that well. If we remove ourselves, do we still get to talk, or is it just going to be dead air?
I don't think it'd be dead air. Let's find out. If there's dead air, give us a second here. Yep, it's dead air. All right, I'll remove me, then you go in, and then you can go back and forth.
Wow, this is awesome. Okay, maybe instead I should just share a screen instead, so we can actually talk, because no one can see the screen that I'm talking about right now.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Makes sense.
If I do this though, there we go. All right, so we're little talking heads on the left side of the frame now. So, all right, if we're gonna nitpick this thing, because I literally just pulled this up as we were doing it. So if you saw me side-eyeing the camera all night, it's because I was looking at graphics to change. But anyway, okay, so let's talk a couple of things that we know for sure. We have a Razor Crest again.
Yes.
Are you pumped?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Dude, the N1 was cool as a callback, but come on, it's the Razor Crest. I haven't felt that way about a ship getting destroyed since Star Trek 3.
Wow.
I had no idea how attached to the Razor Crest I was until they blew it up, and I was like, what? Yeah, so he gets a new Razor Crest. That's awesome. I love it. Looking in the background of these Imperial walkers, these look like Rebels era walkers, right? Like what Captain Rex was holed up in on the Dust Planet when they did the Jaws tribute. They look like these are not Empire Strikes Back era. These are pre-New Hope walkers, AT-ATs to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't look like what we are used to seeing on Hoth, for example.
Our audio viewers are going to love this. If only we could tell them which picture it is. This is like the stylized art one, guys. It's like orange background. It's got AT-ATs in the right corner, the Razor Crest being chased by X-Wings in the left. It's Mando riding some vehicle in the bottom right, and then Hutts in the bottom left with Mandu and Grogu right in the middle. So that's what we're looking at.
So I was actually going to move on to that vehicle next, the walker that he's on. The Mandalorian is riding. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat here, guys, but I think that comes from the Clone Wars. I think Mandalorian might be leaning too far into Clone Wars era stuff now. It's like he doesn't use anything from the original trilogy. It's like here's Rebels era walkers, AT-ATs. Here's AT-RT, I think it's called.
I think so.
The little guy that I think it might have debuted like in one of the first episodes of the Clone Wars. So he's riding that, and then you've got the Razor Crest, a ship that was designed for the Clone Wars. It's like, does anything from the original trilogy survive post Return of the Jedi? And if not, then why the hell does all this Clone Wars era stuff keep showing up?
Yeah. But by the way, Kale has a comment. He says, hang on. Rex was holed up in an ATTE. Are we talking about the episode of Rebels where it's like the dust storm?
Yes, and
Those were AT-ATs.
Well, okay, so Rex was in an ATTE, but the Imperial walkers that were sent after them, because they traced the transmission after Wolf ratted them out, were these walkers, the proto AT-ATs.
Okay.
So the Imperials were in the ones that are in this picture. That was not the same vehicle that Rex was using as an RV.
Yeah. He does. He said these are more like AT-ACTs from Rogue One to me. I agree with that. And then he does confirm. I already thought you were right, but he's confirming. He said that's 100% an AT-RT that he's on. So yeah, I get the other ones confused sometimes. I got to learn the designations better. Yeah, that's definitely. It looks like. Which ones do they call the chicken walkers? Is that the AT-RT? Okay,
that is all-terrain scout transport.
I wish they wouldn't have labeled them that, because I would actually call the AT-RT more of a chicken walker type of thing personally. But
right, yeah, it's smaller. Anyway, it only fits one person. Yeah.
So anyhow, all right. So you wanted to talk about the AT-RT.
So I just found this image to put this background up while we were on the podcast tonight. It appears nowhere in the trailer. So for our teaser trailer discussion, this has nothing to do with it, but I got this from StarWars.com. So I guess this is in the movie.
Okay.
Like, so.
Well, why would they put something on this picture that isn't in the movie?
Well, if you look in the lower left-hand corner, we've got a pair of huts. And I think these are the same huts. These are the brother and sister that show up in the Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they might be in the movie. We only have one shot of a hut in the movie itself. And do you know who that character is rumored to be?
Are we talking about the Swallow the Hut?
Swallow the Hut? Yeah.
I do not.
That is rumored to be Rota the Hutt, a.k.a. Stinky from the Clone Wars movie.
Oh, God, please, no.
So apparently he grew up swole.
Oh, man.
I mean, that character has not been seen or written about since that movie. So in the intervening years, we have no idea what happened to him. We know that by the time Return of the Jedi, per comic books, basically the entire Hutt cartel was wiped out. Jabba was like the lone survivor. And then the cousins here, whatever, the brother and sister, whatever, show up in Book of Boba Fett after the fact. But that's it. Like there was a whole like crime family, like a, Godfather level kind of stuff with the 5 families going on with the Hutt cartel. And then Jabba was the guy who came out on top. But his son was never mentioned again in the timeline or in anything since the Clone Wars movie. So the little Huttling apparently grew up and, didn't skip leg day.
I'm with Kale. He says, oh, I can't put that up on screen. Bumps. He says, oh, fuck off. He says, no, I reject that 100%. Do not make this Rhoda. That's dumb as shit. Yeah, no, I Googled it, Kale, and all the articles are saying, yeah, Rhoda the Hutt's going to be in the... I'm like,
well, it was confirmed. It was confirmed that he's going to be in there. He's being voiced by some actor that I don't remember the name of, but he's a notable actor in any case. So the character is going to be in there. We just don't know if the Hutt that we see in this teaser trailer is that character.
That Clone Wars movie was trash.
Oh, God, yes. Isn't it amazing that we actually got such a great series out of that terrible movie?
Well, I don't think. Well, I understand why you would say that, but I mean, you did have seven seasons of the show, so they had plenty of time to course correct. I think.
Right.
So, yeah, but yeah, oh God, that's. I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because they all the throwbacks that they like to do and the Easter eggs and stuff. I guess that's instead of just going, oh, here's another Hutt. You're like, okay, well, it's one and I honestly, it would kind of be hypocritical of me to say, oh, that's stupid, because I'm the one that always complains about, stuff like, in Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, especially The Rise of Skywalker, we're like, here's another new character. Here's another new character. It's the last movie. We don't need new characters. So it would be hypocritical of me to really complain about it. So I'm just going to call him Swolo. So
we did have an episode about the quote Filoni-verse, and this definitely feels like more of that, though. Like Jon Favreau is the guy in charge of Mandalorian, but we know, Dave Filoni is a collaborator, and Ahsoka is just Rebels season 5 in live action. And we know they're building towards the whole confrontation with Thrawn. So it just seems like everything that Filoni touched is showing up in some form now. And like I said, this thing takes place after Return of the Jedi, but we've got Clone Wars era ship for Mando again. We've got Rebels era AT-AT Walker showing up. We've got Clone Wars era Chicken Walker showing up. We've got Hutt, only introduced in the Clone Wars movie, showing up. Like, Jesus, can you have a new idea?
I'm gonna
tie something into from something that someone else wrote.
I'm gonna say this right now. They have not done World Between Worlds in live action to any major degree. If all this Clone Wars crap is in here, and Grogu is still grown from when we last saw him in the show, if this is because they somehow used the World Between Worlds and went back to Clone Wars stuff, I'm getting up and I'm walking out of the goddamn movie theater. It'll be the first time I'll ever walk out of a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I kind of want that to become true now, just to see it happen. I want to see if you're that committed.
I will extremely loudly say, nope, fuck this, as I'm going out too.
I can feel your anger. Gives you strength. Gives you focus.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, that's not obviously not going to happen, but yeah, if that was the thing, I'd be like, oh no, we don't. Yeah, I think I mean, outside of the Road to the Hutt thing, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan, but I don't think it's a huge deal. It's not a deal breaker. I think my biggest takeaway from this, dude, was it was fun. And what I really, really liked was they didn't smooth out Grogu's motions or the Anzellan, whoever it's going to end up being, whatever the Anzellan's name is, right? Mm-hmm. Like
Philip, I hope.
Philip Anzellan. Nice. Phil, call him Phil for sure. It's Phil the Anzellan. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, it looks a little herky jerky because, it's an actual animatronic thing. But it's like, that's what you come to expect. And if Grogu all of a sudden is moving all smooth and everything, it would look weird.
I think there was a scene of him swimming, which is probably a CG, but
well, that's fine. It looks like Grogu. They had the funny little force thing where he's trying to pull the bowl of snacks towards him, and he makes that noise like so.
Yeah, and Ripley was having none of that shit.
Exactly. Right. God, I wish I could remember her character name in Avatar. I'd use that one. But yeah, I mean, it looks fun.
Well, she's confirmed to be General Bishop in this.
Wow. If that's not a reference to Alien.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Kale.
She was going to be Captain Xenomorph, but they thought it was a little on the nose. So
he says, if World Between Worlds gets that kind of reaction, what would the space whales get? What if they tie it into Ahsoka Season 2 and have Ahsoka and Sabine arrive back in our galaxy inside Purgle at the end?
Oh, that's when he starts walking backwards and taking a shit.
Yes. Then you will find out if I can take a shit standing up walking at 3 miles per hour.
That's how we tie the topics together.
Yep, there it is. There it is. Nope. No, just no. 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 I no.
I really hope Joe's in the audience. I'm sure he's capturing this audio and he's just going to have a 15-second clip of you going, no. No.
No, it's basically Office Space. No. Hell no, man. Do believe get your ass kicked for saying something like that. But yeah, no, I mean, it just looks fun. and I'm interested to see what the story is. I'll say it again. I think this is not just going to be a one-off. I think it's definitely going to be a tie into something else or a springboard to other things. I think it has more meaning than just, something that's like, hey, here's one last adventure with the Mandalorian and Grogu. I think it's bigger than that, which is awesome. I'm hoping it's the jumping off point for a whole new era of stuff. So, I mean, we'll see. I do hope there's more Force stuff with Grogu. Because as I said previously, like the whole, he trained with Luke Skywalker. Okay, we're done with that. We're not going to mention it again. I'm like, whoa. Wait a minute here, Spanky. Like, that's kind of important. Like, I want to know.
Right.
Kale, I'm so glad I managed to tie this together for you. Nice. Anyway, so, all right.
Yeah, so I think one thing that we can be relatively certain of, well, two things we can be relatively certain of. What we're getting is a 2.5 hour version, a speed run of Mandalorian season 4. First off,
right?
Just corporately, we know that there was a pivot when they realized that, holy shit, running a streaming network is expensive.
Yeah.
You know what usually makes more money than running a streaming network? Putting out movies.
Yeah.
As bad as the movie theater model is doing right now, it's better than streaming. Because you got to spend all that money to produce the stuff for your own streaming network and then also not sell it to anybody. So, yeah, we got a movie instead of season 4.
Yeah.
Also, kind of a problem for Disney. Pedro Pascal is very popular.
Yep.
It's much better for them to pay him to do voice work and maybe take the helmet off once or twice for a movie instead of an entire season of television. So I think what we've done is we've just completely cracked the formula that says the Mandalorian, Din Djarin is now absolutely a movie character and not showing up on Disney Plus anymore unless they just can't help it.
Yep.
So I think we've created a movie verse out of financial problems for the parent company. I'm fine with that, actually. As much as I love a weekly episode of The Mandalorian, it does feel like this is the best thing they've done, minus Andor, since taking over. The sequel trilogy was not it. So if they want to hang their hat on Din Djarin as like the focal point, cool. Let's get more of this in the movie theater, please. 'Cause I just want Star Wars to do well at the box office so I can get more Star Wars movies. I enjoy Star Wars TV shows, but movies are where it's at. It's a movie franchise to start. And if this does well, then we're going to get more of it. So there's no reason to shit on this and be cynical and say, well, there's just a cash grab. And yeah, it is. And you know what they're going to grab? My cash. Because I want to see this on the biggest screen with better effects and budget than a TV show.
100%. Yeah, I don't understand why people you made the comment that saying like the movie theater model is not doing well. Like I don't understand why people aren't going to movies again like they were. Going to the movies is fun. Like I don't understand. I don't know, man. Is this just like an old man thing anymore? Like, oh, we're attached to it because of when we were kids. Like, but it's like an experience. It makes it cool. Like I'm going somewhere. Like I'm getting the popcorn. I'm getting the nachos. Like,
right.
I'm watching previews. Like, like you said, it's on this big screen. I mean, shit, dude. In 2 weeks, we're going to see Tron Ares in IMAX, for Christ's sakes. It's like, it's not good enough to see it on a regular screen. No, it has to be the big ass goddamn screen. Like,
yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, I mean, come on.
And you know what's going to exist in our lives for that 2.5 hours?
Tron.
Nothing but Tron.
Yes.
Exactly.
Dude.
We're not going to be like petting our dogs or saying hi to our cats or checking our texts or anything else. You know what? The entire rest of our existence can just go the hell away for 2.5 hours. We're doing something else.
Yep. 100%.
That is so hard to do these days. Yeah. I love the escapism of going to the movies and just having no worries in the world.
Yeah. And dude, and it opens up other possibilities too. Like, I mean, and this is kind of stupid. This is just me. I'm an idiot like this, but we're going with my buddy Jonah, who is an enormous Tron fan like me, like, dude, we cannot stop texting about it. I'm watching videos on. I'm
They're
building
very
this-
annoying, audience. Just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but when I gave him the movie times, I believe it's 9:30 at night. There's only one showing every day, but it's IMAX 3D. And when I gave him the things, he says, "You know what this means?" And I was like, "What?" It's like, we go to the 2:30 or whatever show we're going. We go to the 12:50. We have drinks. We eat all you can eat meat, and then we go right back in the theater for the 9:30 IMAX 3D and see it again. And you know what my instant reaction was? It wasn't, "Oh my God, forget that." My instant reaction was, that's very true. So,
by the way, for the audience to clarify, the plan of watch the movie, have some drinks, all you can eat meat, amongst all male friends. It's a Brazilian steakhouse. I won't qualify any further than that. But
did you have to say that on a show when we talked about taking a shit walking? I mean, what are you doing to this show?
You're geeking out over this movie so hard. I just want to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about.
Good Lord.
Clarity of communication is important.
See, there's a giant ass moth flying in front of my face. Okay. Don't know how that got in here. And okay, well, if you see it, it's about to fly in front of the screen. Okay. Wow. Okay. Don't know how I'm going to get around that one.
Anyway, so we've got a movie coming out in math 8 months. 8 months, we get a new Star Wars movie. Do you even care what it is, or are you just jacked that there's a Star Wars movie?
Oh no, I don't care what it is. It's like, dude, like I'm exactly where you're at. Take my money. I'm gonna go see Star Wars on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it was Star Wars Purgle, I'd be like, no. Then I'm like, no. Then I'm just gonna go to as many theaters as I can and try and bum rush the screening room and set fire to the prints. That's the only reason I'd be at a movie theater for that. But yeah, no, I'm completely with you, because the experience. I mean, and again, this could be an old man thing for us, but I mean, think about it. We haven't missed together a Star Wars movie in the theater since 1983. Every Star Wars movie they've put out since Return of the Jedi, we have made sure to see in the theater together.
That is a fantastic point. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, literally, we've seen every single Star Wars movie but 2 together in a theater. So maybe we're biased about the theater experience, especially a Star Wars theater experience, because of our shared history with it and the nostalgia and everything. But even still, it's a Star Wars movie, dude. Like, who doesn't want, like, I mean, Star Wars is made for the big screen. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
If Star Wars puts out a movie, you go see it. That is what you do. So, I'm glad that this is the first one they're doing, because, obviously the Mandalorian series is extremely popular. So I think that sets this up, for success, which, as we've seen in the past, if one Star Wars movie is successful, then that tends to, help the next one be successful and vice versa. I'm looking at you, dickheads that boycotted Solo because you didn't like Last Jedi.
They're wrong on 2 counts.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I'm 1,000,000% on board with you. I mean, this is happening. I already requested off on the band calendar for that Friday, knowing that we'll go Thursday, and I might just take off Friday because it's like, that's kind of like a slower period at work. And I'm like, I'm just going to go see Mando again. Screw it. Maybe we'll go golfing and then go to the movie theater. We'll see Mando at night on Thursday. Then we'll get up, we'll go golfing, play 18 holes, and then we'll go see the movie again.
Oh man, don't tease me. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think my summary of the teaser trailer is mission accomplished. I was very teased. I'm very excited. And I think it's going to be, of course, months, maybe like the Super Bowl is the next like big update. If I had to make a prediction that we're going to see something, but it's 8 months out from the movie, and we finally have something that shows this thing is going to be at least visually entertaining, and
yeah,
it's going to star all the parts of the Mandalorian series that we want to see in like a higher budget form. So
yeah,
I don't think there's anything to get unhyped about with this.
no, I don't either. And again, I think especially because I just don't see how this can't be a springboard to other things. I mean, this is just there is way too much Grogu to talk about, stories to tell. And same thing with Din Djarin, but I think even more so with Grogu. Like, okay, well, he's a Force user, a Jedi, whatever, he's of Yoda's species. You're just going to have this movie be the end of it? Like, how can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that can happen. There's no way that can happen. I will be absolutely floored if that actually happens.
Yeah, if I had to like actually get cynical and engage my brain for a second, Yoda, was 900 years old in Return of the Jedi, which meant they had one character that could run through like all the stories they would ever want to tell, right?
Yep.
Well, now they've got a new Yoda, which means no matter where they want to put stuff in the future, they can have Grogu.
Yeah.
It's a through line. So it's a common thread that runs through whatever stories they want to tell in whatever era they want to tell, as long as it's somewhere after the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fault them for it. I mean, that's pretty much what Yoda was. So they've got a new Yoda for a new era. Great.
Well, I mean, think about it.
And his origins are still a mystery.
Yeah. I mean, dude, look, Rey, we know that she's supposed to be resurrecting the Jedi Order. We know that she's communed with Force Ghost Luke. And Force Ghost Luke is obviously buddy-buddy with Force Ghost Yoda. Well, now I've got a baby Yoda running around. I mean,
it's kind of a no-brainer that Grogu's going to get trained by Rey, right?
I don't know if it's a no-brainer, but I wonder if it's going to be like a side-by-side thing. Kind of like, I mean, because we know that
He'll
Yoda
be like 80. He'll be like 80, which is like Padawan age when Rey shows up.
Yeah.
80 Padawan age. Hey,
I know.
When you're 900 years old. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. No, but I mean, that's what's exciting to me. Like I'm excited for the movie itself because I love the source material. I mean, how can you not love seeing Grogu? I mean, dude, come on, dude. They won up the Grogu experience by putting Babu Fricks with them.
Right.
I mean, come on, dude. That's like the guy who invented the bacon cheeseburger. Like, hey man, check this out. You like hamburger? I made a cheeseburger. This is the greatest sandwich ever. No,
you thought
put bacon on it.
Good meat. What if we put a second meat on it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seriously. That's adding Anzellans or Babu Fricks to Grogu is like adding bacon to a cheeseburger. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
And it's endlessly charming and hilarious that like now Grogu is a giant.
I know, right? Well, and that's the other thing. Like, how much bigger is he? Whatever. I didn't pay that much attention to see how much bigger he was, but.
Well, that was a blink and you'll miss a moment, but he was crammed in like he was way too big to fit in the cockpit of a ship.
That I did catch that, yeah. But yeah, I mean, dude, this just again, it looks fun. The source material is fun. We're back in the theater watching Star Wars. I mean, what's not to like? And again, I'm super excited to see what comes out of this. Where are they going? What is the future of the Star Wars storytelling? Or the past?
I do truly feel like we're coming out of the real dark times where we've endured. Well, if it just says Star Wars, we could put out any old thing and they'll just slop it up. And now they're realizing,
right.
Maybe we don't just flood the market with anything with the label on it, and we actually make sure we focus on telling good stories. Andor proved that the critics and the audience will adore the shit out of Star Wars if it's good. And everything that isn't Andor has proven that you can't just slap the label on it and expect everybody to show up and fill your pockets. So
Nope.
I hope that this isn't just the last vestiges of the old cynical crap factory, and it's a signal to the future of we're going to tell good stories that make sense.
So you hope this isn't the last remnants of the old Republic being swept away?
Correct.
How's that for a show ender? Good for me. By the way, Kale, I hope you're not saying what I think you're saying. He says, JT loves Star Wars so much that he'll destroy a print of the single greatest movie they could ever make to preserve his experience. Find someone that dedicated to you as he is to Star Wars. I hope you're not saying that a Purgle movie would be the single greatest movie they could ever make, because that's just...
That will land you in timeout, Kale.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. So, all right. Well, on that note, you want to close up shop for this week?
Yeah, sounds good, man. You know, we're getting into October, so we're gonna have to pivot.
Yes, we are. That was going to be my next statement. Our next show is going to be on Wednesday, October 8th, and it is going to be our annual Halloween movie episode. We have not chosen the movie yet, but we've done what have we done in the past? We did Violent Night before, or no, we did Terrifier, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did Terrifier last year for sure.
We did Terrifier.
We've also covered Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Yep, we did the Hellraiser.
Halloween. We did In Defense of Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween specifically.
I love those. Yeah, I've got a ton of ideas for it. So,
well, maybe someone watching has some ideas.
Well, there you go. Yeah, if anybody watching has some ideas as to what Halloween movie we should watch, you can hit us up on Facebook or send us an email. It's nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com. Yeah, so that'll be in 2 weeks. It'll be Wednesday, October 8th. And then 2 weeks after that, we are doing another JT-centric episode, but it is Tron. We will be talking about Tron Ares, which I will have seen multiple times by then, but also gives me a chance to talk about the first two, which I absolutely adore. So we got a lot of great stuff coming up, guys. We got some, one quick show note, though. Due to the fact that it falls on a Wednesday, we will not have a show on December 31st for obvious reasons. It is New Year's Eve. I will be out making money, singing with the band, and so we will not have a show. So we'll be off on New Year's Eve, as you guys should be too.
And I'll be too drunk to be on camera.
There you go. I don't think there is such a thing when we podcast, but hey, you do you.
We've done recordings where we thought we were hilarious. Those will never see the light of day.
That's because it was just audio. On video, we try to be a little more, a little more reserved. But yeah. Kale says, "Boo! I wanted to start my year with you guys." Well, we can make plans, Kale. We still got to finalize plans for our watch along next Friday that we had decided we wanted to do. So we gotta.
And we also have our 10th anniversary fan hangout.
Yes, we do. I'm very excited about that one. That is going to be awesome. So let me pull up our spreadsheet here because I don't have the date off the top of my head, but I do believe that we are going to be doing that one. We should probably do that one. Let's set a special date for that because I know we've got episodes on December 3rd and December 17th, but I'd like to do it we'll set a different Wednesday. We can't because it'll be Christmas Eve. Yeah, to be determined. We are doing a fan hangout. So basically what that is, guys, I'm taking an idea from my other show, Talking Into Infinity, and what we do every December is we do what we call the fan hangout, and we open up the floor to you guys to jump on camera with us and co-host the show. And we don't set a topic. It's just talk about anything and just riff, and whatever comes up we discuss, and just let you guys run the show, and we kind of do the graphics and stuff like that and just nerd out. And however long it goes is however long it goes. Some of the fan hangouts have been like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Last year's Talking Into Infinity fan hangout was 5.5. So that was a marathon, but it was actually a total blast. So, but in any case, guys, we are going to be right back here in 2 weeks on Wednesday, October 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be talking about a Halloween movie, which we will be determining here in the next couple weeks, and we'll make the announcement. But we always look forward to that because it's just a blast talking about stuff during scary season. I'm a huge Halloween guy, so we'll be on all of our normal locations. Again, guys, if you are not aware, which you should be because we've been around for 10 years and I say it all the time, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and 1 free audiobook download. And my recommendation this week, obviously, is The Long Walk by Richard Bachman / Stephen King. The movie was a disappointment for me, but the book itself is excellent. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're a Stephen King fan who has not read it yet. So check that out. If you are watching on either our YouTube channel or the YouTube channel of the Virtual Cantina Network, please make sure to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. If you would like to get some awesome Virtual Cantina Network swag, go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. And for customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. And one last time, guys, huge congratulations to our friends at the Virtual Cantina Network for hitting 100,000 subscribers. It is an amazing accomplishment, started by our friends Spencer Jowitz and John Chiato, and they literally just started this Facebook fan group for Star Wars Celebration fans to have a positive, inclusive, just amazing place for Star Wars fans to hang out, and none of the typical arguing and bullshit goes on. They are very militant about that. They want to keep it as true to the vibe of an actual Star Wars Celebration as possible. As I mentioned before AJ jumped on, it is an amazing place to go for Star Wars news, hanging out with other fans that believe the same stuff we believe, that Star Wars is just an absolute bastion of positivity and light in our lives. So if you have not subscribed to them, just look them up on Facebook. It's I believe it's Star Wars Celebration Los Angeles now, because they change it for each of the upcoming celebrations. So go check that out. So until next time, guys, I am your host, JT, who's very much looking forward to our Halloween episode. And Tron Aries, he is AJ.
And I am looking forward to all of that and then some. 2026 is looking like a great year for Star Wars fans.
Completely agree. And as always, guys, till next time, we'll catch you later.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.